Hey guys, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to use your digital signing system called Authentisign. I get questions about this all the time. Figured it was time I could do a video that I could share with you guys and show you how to use this. So this is how we get documents signed digitally. Hopefully we don't still have to do things like back in the day where you actually have to show up in person with a contract and have people sign, or even email them an attachment, have them print it out, have them sign, have them have to scan it back to you, and all these things. This will make your life so much easier. So let me show you how to use this, okay? So first and foremost, how do you get to Authentisign? So we're gonna go here to mfrlogin.com, okay? This is my favorite way. Let me do that again so you can see, mfrlogin.com. This is basically your main dashboard for all your tools that are provided through the MLS, including the actual MLS. So we'll go here, ask me to log in. Okay, no problem, I can do that. So I'm gonna log in, and it's gonna take me to my main screen, and it'll show me all the tools that I have within the MLS, one of them being Transaction Desk. Transaction Desk is where you will find your Authentisign, okay? So this is Transaction Desk right here. So if you click on Transaction Desk, click on that right there, and let me show you a couple of things once you get in here. So first, Transaction Desk is where you find all your contracts, okay? So anytime you're looking for a contract for purchase, a listing agreement, an addendum, this is where it's gonna be at. And it's tied directly into Authentisign, which is so cool, because if you're working on a contract within Transaction Desk, you can actually go directly to Authentisign and sign that contract, and it will usually put everywhere that somebody needs to sign. You won't have to do it manually. So let me show you that in particular and how you will normally be using Authentisign, okay? So first and foremost, if you just want to go directly to Authentisign for anything, you see this pen right here on the left-hand side of the screen? That is Authentisign. It will take you directly there. So if I click that, I actually go directly to Authentisign, and I can start an individual search here, okay? So I can actually add a search right here and click this add button and actually put in a search. The thing is if you start a search individually, it's not gonna be tied into any of the contracts that you were doing in Transaction Desk. So it won't put the places where people need to sign an initial and date automatically if you just go directly here. You will have to use this, and I'll show you how to use this for other uploaded documents in a second. But let me just show you the traditional way you would probably use this, okay? So let's go back to Transaction Desk. And let's say I'm here working on a form in Transaction Desk, and there's other videos on how to use Transaction Desk, how to use your contracts here. But let's just say I'm in this form right here, and I want to actually go directly to Authentisign from here. If you notice right here in the top right, there's a pen right here. This means that I have actually purchased Authentisign. If you don't have this pen here, you're gonna wanna go to the pen on the left-hand side of the page and actually upgrade to get your digital signing system called Authentisign. It's 35 bucks a year, so it's not super expensive. And then once you pay for that 35 bucks, you'll actually have the pen here on the top right. So if I click that pen right now, it'll ask me, do you want to create a signing for this form? And I say yes. And it'll automatically import this form to Authentisign. So it'll actually bring me to Authentisign signing system. So let me show you the basics of Authentisign. Number one, it takes you through a 4-step system. Details, step 2 is participants, step 3 documents, step 4 design. Really, really simple. All you need to do in step 1 that I like to do is click this little deal right here that says Simulsign. And if you read it, it says first come, first serve. What that means is I want the documents that I send out to sign to be first come, first serve. For instance, if there's a husband and a wife that have to sign, I want them both to get this document at the same time, and whoever signs first signs first. It doesn't matter who signs first. The main thing is that they both sign. If you click this button here, if the first time you're using it, you might actually have this one clicked, so be cognizant of that. So if this is clicked, what this means is that signing participants sign in order. So whatever order I put the participants in is the order that they will receive the contract, and the second person in line will not receive the contract until the first person signs. What I don't like about that is if you send it out and the first person doesn't sign, the second one's gonna call you and tell you, I never got the email. Of course you didn't, because the first person hasn't signed yet, okay? So I like to do first come, first serve. So just make sure Simulsign is clicked here, okay? Step 2, participants. So participants, are the people who are actually signing. So you're going to want to have all the contact information for your signers there. If you were in Transaction Desk and you were in one of your transactions and you had already put the contacts for that transaction, the buyer or the sellers, if you were working with the sellers, or even yourself, because sometimes you will have to sign a form as well, it'll actually give you the option to add from your transaction. Okay, matter of fact, I can actually go back to Transaction Desk and show you what that looks like. So let me go back for a second and actually go into a transaction that I was in, right? So let's go to this one right here. Okay, so let's say I wanted to do the listing agreement here. Okay, and let's say I was in this listing agreement, I had filled it out, and now I want my seller to sign this. Okay, so I went ahead and clicked the pen here. I say yes. It's going to bring me to Authentisign like you saw before. Okay. So once again, SimoSign is already clicked. I go to participants, and you'll see it actually is going to bring the participants from this transaction. I've already put the contacts in there. All I have to do is choose the seller here and actually myself, because this is a listing agreement. So I would have to sign here. Okay. So I close this here, or I'd say done here. And now it's asking me to say, okay, who's who? Okay, well, John Rode is the seller. Listing agent would be actually myself. I'm not showing up there yet. So we'll close that there. And actually the reason that's not happening is because I have myself here as a reviewer. Okay, this just means that I'm reviewing this document. It doesn't mean that I have a signing responsibility. If I'm supposed to be signing it, I should be a remote signer. Okay, and once I do that, you'll see that on the bottom here, it's asking me, how do you want to sign? What's it going to look like? Bobby Davidowitz will be how I sign, and BD will be my initials. And I'm going to save this participant here. Now, after I save the participant, it knows that I'm the listing agent, we're good to go. Okay, so let's go to step 3, which is documents. Okay, so now I'm going to look. The document that I was already in Transaction Desk has been automatically imported. But let's say I want to add more documents from that same transaction. So let's say I click add, and it says, look, do you want to add more documents from this transaction? And if I do, I just click here and it gives me all the documents that I have for that transaction. So maybe I want to put in the buyer seller disclosure, or I want to have a homeowners association community disclosure, and I want to add those things. And if I want to add that, I can go ahead and do that. So now I have 2 documents here. But what if there's a document that I need them to sign that wasn't in Transaction Desk? Maybe it was something from, from another entity, for instance. A lot of times you're going to get a document from another agent, right? So let's say this was a situation where I'm representing the seller, right? Just like in this situation. And a buyer's agent sends me a signed contract from their buyers, but my seller now needs to sign. Well, that contract is not in in Transaction Desk, and it won't be recognized as far as putting all the places to sign. So that means that I'm going to have to upload an outside document from there. So let's say I wanted to do that. Let's say I wanted to upload an outside document. I would go here to upload a file, because I want to upload a file that I've saved on my computer. So if I do that, let's say I go to Dropbox, I go to sellers, residential. Let's go to this same situation here, and let's say go offers. Let's bring up this contract here. Okay, so this is an executed contract already, but let's say I needed to do this. Well, I'll go ahead and add this to the transaction. Okay, so this is an outside document that I uploaded in here, right? It did not come from Transaction Desk, so it is not recognized. You'll notice that here they have these little yellow boxes. That means it came straight from Transaction Desk, and it's putting all the places where people need to sign automatically, okay? Here, you don't see that because I uploaded this contract from outside of the system, which means I'm going to have to manually drag and drop the places where they have to sign. Okay, so finally, the 4th step to finish this off is design. Okay, so we'll go into design. It's uploading all those documents that I put in there. Takes a little bit, no problem. There we go. Okay, so here's what you'll notice. The things that I uploaded directly from Transaction Desk already have the places where people need to initial. So this is a listing agreement. So it's putting my seller there and it's putting myself here to initial this contract, and knew that automatically because I told them who the contacts were and I brought this contract directly from Transaction Desk. But let me show you what happens when you upload a contract from outside of that, which you will have to do undoubtedly, right? Okay, so let's go to this executed contract. Okay, so this is a contract that I just happened to upload. It's already executed. So don't, disregard this. This was signed already. But the reality is it's not putting the places that I need to sign. You don't see those yellow boxes like you saw here, right? Where they have to sign, which means I would have to manually drag and drop the places where I needed to sign. Once again, these have already been signed, so disregard these signings. But let me show you how to drag and drop that. So you'll notice on the top right here that it says my seller's name. Whoever it says up here is who you're dragging and dropping an initial for or a signature for. Let's say I needed it for me. I would just press this and I say, okay, now whatever I drag and drop here will be for me. But let's do the seller now, and let's drag and drop. Okay, so let's say the seller happened, this is just random, guys. I'm just showing you how to drag and drop. Okay, let's say they needed to sign something right here. I will take this and I will just drag it. Boom. And right there, it's telling them this is where you have to sign. So when they get this email with its automatic signature, they will sign in that spot. Let's say I needed in the date here. Boom, I drag and drop this date here. Sign, date. Let's say I needed them to initial here. There's an initial box. So technically, if you were filling out, let's say, a blank contract and you needed initials, seller's initials here, boom, I would drag it to the proper place, okay? Same thing, if I go out to the end here, once again, this contract's already been signed. I just pulled something up from my computer. But let's say we were in the signature section and I needed to have the seller's signature here. Well, I would take this and I would drag and drop here, and I would drag and drop a date here, okay? Hey, look, I need the seller's initials here. I would put an initial there, okay? And it's the red ones, guys, because if you see the green ones, it says OPT, which means optional, sign optional, initial optional. These are not optional things on the contract, okay? So we're going to sign here, have to sign, and you have to initial. And then this is the date, okay? That's the very simple explanation of that. Okay, and once again, let's say I wanted to do something for me. Let's say I had to sign somewhere on here. Well, I'm going to switch to my name, and I'm going to drag and drop my signature wherever it's needed. So, boom, if I needed to sign here, I would do that. If I needed to date here, I would do that. If I needed to initial here, I would do that. Okay, so that's all you need to know about that. So once you've done that, that's on a manual upload, okay? Remember, everything else you do from Transaction Desk should have automatically all the places where people need to sign an initial. It'll do that automatically here on the bottom because it'll recognize the contacts and it'll recognize the contract, okay? So finally, you're done with that part. You're ready to go. You've reviewed everything. Everything's in the right place. And then all you have to do is press next. Okay, and then it'll say send invitations. Okay, now if you want to write a customized message to them, you can press this and actually write them a message and say, hey, this is what you're signing, whatever. But if you've already discussed this, this situation, and there's nothing really that you need to tell them, you can just press send invitations. And what will happen is when I press this button, it's going to send an email to all the people who have to sign. Okay, so in this particular case, my seller and myself will receive an email saying, hey, click here to start your signing. And it'll take you through a step-by-step process to sign that document, okay? Once everybody gets done signing, you will actually receive an email back that says Authentisign Final Revision, okay? When you receive that email back, okay, you will, it'll actually have a link for the contract in there that you can download as a PDF, and you'll have your final executed contract. So for instance, if you were representing a buyer and you got the purchase contract signed for your buyer, you would attach it to an email now signed from your buyers and send it over to the listing agent along with your proof of funds, okay? So, or if you needed to send a document over to a title company or to a lender, or whatever the case may be, you would have that document to download. I will show you one more thing. So I'm gonna close this out here. Okay, I'm gonna go to the main Authentisign. Remember, if you ever want to go to Authentisign directly, just press this pen. Okay, and let's say you just want to, you know that you want to just upload one document that's not in transaction desk, right? You just want to do one thing. You can go directly to Authentisign and go ahead and add a signing. Give the signing a name. You can actually even assign it a one of your transactions to it. So I could just give a name like test, and I could actually assign a transaction to it if I want. In this case, I won't. Let's say it's just an individual document. Okay, so I could save that, and it would start me on that same process. And I would have to add my participants. I would have to add my documents, and I would have to design it just like I did before. Okay. Now, one thing I also want to show you is that once something is in process or even finished signing, you can actually look in the back end. So even on this test, let's say this one. This is one I've had signed before. So these are all the signings that I've created, right? These are all the digital signings. Let's say I go into this one, which was an addendum I had to have the seller sign for some minor fixes that he was agreeing to do for a purchase, right? Now you can see that the status is approved. He's already signed this, but I just want you to see what the back end looks like, okay? So you can go into the back end of Authentisign, and what you'll notice is I only sent it for him to sign. It was just something he had to initial and sign, and it was an addendum. And you see these little checkered flags. It means that he's already authenticated and signed it. If one of your clients has said, "Oh no, I got it, I signed it," but you haven't received the email back with the final signed contract, it probably means that they didn't press a button right. They didn't press complete the signing, or whatever the case may be. And you can actually go into the back end system and you can see, hey, look, he authenticated it. But if this flag wasn't here, you'd be like, but you didn't actually complete the signing. So you did go into it, you didn't complete it. Or if none of these flags are checkered flags, then that means they haven't done anything yet, okay? And you can always go up here. You can resend it if for some reason they say they didn't have it, or whatever the case may be. And you can also, check the email that you sent it to. Maybe you sent it to the wrong email. That's why I didn't get it. But the one thing I do want to show you is that there's another way for you to get the final signed document. So once again, this has already been signed. If I look down here, I can pull up the final document here, and I can also download it from here. So if I click on this, it's going to show me the final signed document. You'll see there's an initial from him there, the signature's there. And if I want to, if I want to view this as a PDF, I can do that, and I can download it from here. So if I click that, I can view it as a PDF, and boom, I can just download it like that as well. So this is some very basic video on Authentisign. I hope it helps. I know you guys will have more questions, but I hope this will be, at least a refresher, or at least educational enough so you guys can get it to a certain stage. And don't worry, I'll help you out through the rest of it. All right, guys, take care.